Hi everyone, welcome to the Climate Launchpad Global Final 2021. My name is Lisette Wellens and I'll be your host for the coming days. I am super excited to see so many green innovations and I can't wait to watch all the pitches. I'm sure you guys also can't wait to get started, but before we dive into the semi-finals, I'd like to tell you something more in advance. As you know, you're going to pitch against each other on the international stage of the Global Final. It takes part in two stages. We have the semi-finals today and the grand final on Friday. Only 16 teams will make it to that grand final and tomorrow we know who. How do we select the top 16 winners? All pitches are divided in 7 different topics, green topics. The top 2 of each of those topics will enter the grand final. That leaves 2 spots in the top 16 and those will be filled with 2 wildcards for teams that made an exceptional impression on the jury. The overall winner receives 10,000 euros, the runner-up gets 5,000 euros and the ID that comes in third place wins 2,500 euros. And the entire top 16 wins direct access to the Climate Launchpad Accelerator program. But winning is overrated. The real prize is that you get to build your business and find a customer that's willing to pay for your product. Climate Launchpad helps you just do that. Now, let's get this party started and let me begin by welcome the one and only woman leading Climate Launchpad to the stage, Emily Bronsing.
Hi,
welcome. Nice to see you.
Welcome. Nice. Hi. Welcome everybody here on the 8th edition of the Climate Launchpad program this year. And a special welcome, of course, to all our entrepreneurs, the national leads, the trainers, of course, the moderators, and all the 28 jury members that will be involved today. Yeah, for selecting the best top 16.
Yeah.
So very excited.
Yeah, I have some questions for you. Let's start with something about the competition. What's it like this year?
This year we started the program in March, April. We received more than 2,150 applications in more than 55 countries.
Wow.
And out of those 2,000, more or less 2,000 applications, we selected 900 teams that went through all the different boot camps, 2-day boot camps, and afterwards they received follow-up sessions. And afterwards we trained them for the national final. And there they needed to pitch. And the top 3 of each national final was selected for the regional final. And out of those 6 regional finals we had, we selected the best 70 teams. And those teams will pitch their ideas today.
Wow, it's a long way, and now they're here.
It's a very long way. Yeah, it's a very long way. So we trained them well. So
yeah, well, I'm very curious. The pitches will start right away. Do you have a last piece of advice for the teams?
Yeah, that's more focused on the Q&A, I guess. Yeah, during the Q&A, yeah, my way, we train them well, so they know what to do. And I think, yeah, for them the best is to put all their energy and all their skills in it, and to wait a sec before they start answering the questions.
First think, then talk.
So, for example, yeah.
Okay. And what are the criteria that the jury is going to use?
The jury will take a look at, of course, market impact, but also the technical impact, the skills of the team, but also, of course, the climate impact and the social one.
Yeah, there's a lot on stake. Well, yeah. I'm very, very curious how it will end up. Thank you, Emily Bronsing, for being here for now, and we'll see you back, well, very many more times during the coming days.
Yeah, thank you, and good luck for the entrepreneurs. Thanks.
Yeah, in a matter of moments now, all participating teams will go into their own pitching room by using a Zoom link. Teams, if you haven't done so already, please go into your rooms right now. And you will not be able to watch the pitches live today, but they will all be made available to watch on our website from tomorrow on. Also tomorrow is day 2 of our global final when we pick up this live stream at noon CEST. Former Climate Launchpad participants will then tell their stories about, well, how did they get so successful, but also what didn't go that well during their journeys. Yeah, and it's very exciting because we will also announce the top 16 who get to pitch in the grand final on Friday. All right, enough said. Teams, are you ready for some serious pitching? Are the room bosses and moderators ready? And also members of the jury, are you ready? The Climate Launchpad Global Final 2021 is now officially open. Good luck and break a leg.
Maybe I'll start in this order with Amir Salim from Youth in Green. Amir, if you could go off on mute and introduce yourself to the room, that'd be great.
Hello, everyone. It's a great pleasure to be with you this year. Before I start talking, I would like to welcome you here. This is not as just said, like it's a competition where we are trying to promote one of the most critical and essential ideas that we really need right now to combat climate change and taking actions. I would like to just remind you with the next COP, which is going to happen next week in Glasgow in UK, and this is something really essential. I see many ideas, and I am familiar. I already went through some of presentations, so it's really I'm really delighted to be with you today. Briefly about me, I'm Amr. I'm coming originally from Egypt. I'm a mechanical engineer originally, but I have been working on the diplomatic area and supporting the entrepreneurial ecosystem for a while, means like +5 years. I have all in all 12 years. I'm currently a board member at Youth in Green Egypt, where we promote for clean tech. And currently also I'm working as a digitalization specialist at Aldi. Aldi, it's an international company which is based in Germany. I'm happy to really exchange ideas today, and even afterwards, if you would like to reconnect, feel free. I will pass on my contacts to you. Let's get started. Yeah.
Great, thank you, Amir. Just to follow that list, we also have Catherine Edmonds from CDC.
Hello all, nice to meet you. Hopefully you can hear me. I know I've had a few microphone problems. As Pratap has said, I'm Tatwin. I'm from CDC. CDC has been sponsoring the adaptation and resilience part of the Climate Launchpad program this year. And through that, I've seen a few of you through that journey. I've been very impressed by all of the great ideas that have come out through that process. I suppose a bit about me. I've from the UK, based in London, but lived for a long time in Southeast Asia, in particular Myanmar, where I founded a business. Though now working at CDC in the climate team, focusing on adaptation and resilience. And we'll likewise looking forward to COP next week as well. So thank you, Pratap.
Oh, thank you, Tatman. Great. We also have Stephanie Zier from Stephanie Zier's Consulting. Hi, Stephanie.
That's right. Yes, I actually, hi everyone, really excited to be here. Adaptation is a bit of a passion of mine. I've done lots of work in the public sector in adaptation, and sometimes I think it's one of those areas that is a bit hidden. People don't get as excited about it, and I think adaptation is now having its time in the sun. I think I also am on the board of Climate-KIC Australia. I was one of the founders. We got together with a group of public sector universities and businesses, and we got together and we founded Climate-KIC Australia. It's a much smaller body than the European model, but it's very exciting to be a partner, and the work's fantastic. We have a climate launchpad as well, and been part of the program. So fantastic to be here, and excited to hear all your pitches.
Right. That's super. Stephanie's at the end of the world. She's in Australia. So in addition to, like the rest of the jury, giving their time to support this program, it's late night over there. We have one more jury member. I think we're still waiting. Let me just double check what's the situation, or whether we can go ahead or not. But in the meantime, let me share at least what I think Rahul was asking, the order. Okay, great. Alrighty. So this is the order. The 10 startups we're pitching here. Do try to stay on the whole time, because this is very tight. And as I mentioned, we have to go through these, not just these pitches and Q&A. We also have jury deliberations. So you can take a screenshot here in case you need. What I'll do is, when I announce a startup to come, I'll just mention who is coming up next, so that you could just be ready to go, 10 minutes later. Okay, wait.
Yeah. Raju, actually, I'm there on my laptop also. I'm in the waiting room. Can you please add me?
Oh, yeah,
Thank
sure.
you.
Okay. I don't know if I'm a...
Recording in progress.
That's awesome. Why is this not working? Okay, let me one thing. Let me just wait till Claudia comes back to solve this problem. I don't think I don't see
It
you
is
in the waiting
solved.
room.
Like he is.
Oh, okay. Claudia, should we have any? Do we have any word from the fourth jury? What we could do is continue and then add his scores to where he has been part of the jury. Jurying. I didn't even know if that's a word. All right, let's start. Great. Let me go back to sharing my screen. Again, I'll just announce who's next. I'll play the video from my side. After the 5 minutes, just turn on your mic and video then. That would be great. And then there's 5 minutes. We'll try to get each jury to at least ask one question. Some will ask more than one. What I ask is making sure to answer the questions as closely as possible to what the jury is asking. It's sometimes, it's tempting to bring in other information, but if we don't want to rob the jury of getting their chance to ask their key questions, and that'll probably help you in the deliberations anyway. Great. Okay. Solve this stuff first. Sorry, let me share my screen one more time. We're starting with Urdhvam Environmental Technologies, and then after that will be Field Labs. Okay, good luck to everyone, and here we go.
A couple of years ago, Nabi Saab, a smallholder marginal farmer, lost water from his borewell. He heavily invested in drilling 2 new borewells, but both were dry. He lost his crop and suffered financial losses and was on the verge of committing suicide. Nabi Saab represents millions of farmers in India who are facing loss of crops and income due to climate change and groundwater depletion. Welcome to Urdhvam Environmental Technologies Private Limited, a groundwater sustainability, technology and products company. We revive existing low-yielding and failed borewells. Urdhvam has developed Bore Charger, a smart rainwater harvesting service that significantly recharges borewells of smallholder farmers in India at an affordable cost of only $200 per borewell, thereby increasing borewell yield and duration. The worldwide groundwater stress map clearly indicates that India is the largest abstractor of groundwater in the world. Hence, our beachhead market in 3 years is going to be 5 drought-prone districts of Maharashtra state with around 500,000 bore wells. India itself has around 50 million bore wells. And overall in the world, there are 220 million bore wells with around 44 billion US dollar worth market size. For smallholder marginal farmers, bore charger increases borewell supply by 700,000 liters per year, thereby increasing the longevity of borewell water supply by more than 5 months. Bore charger service significantly improves recharge. Our team of trained hydrogeologists locate untapped water around borewell which is not able to enter the borewell. They perforate borewell casing using a robotic tool from inside. This increases recharge substantially and rehydrates the deeper aquifers which have gone dry. The competitive advantage of bore charger is significant. It's a patented technology. It is 5 times cheaper and provides 10 times more water supply than competitive solutions. Most importantly, it doesn't need any space, maintenance, or water source. Our customer discovery interviews of 30 farmers gave us very nice insights. We tested the hypothesis of customer acquisition channel, problem hypothesis, and pricing and affordability. With the 500,000 borewells worth beachhead market, we would be grossing $150 million in terms of revenue in the third year. With estimated total expenditure of around $84 million, our net income would be $56 million. The key drivers to achieve this phenomenal success would be automation of bore charger, development of franchisee network, adoption of bore charger by government, and sustained economic growth. There is a huge groundwater and energy nexus. The CO2 emission per borewell is around 2.7 metric tons per year for pumping energy. Because of enhanced water levels, we are able to save 0.8 metric tons per year worth CO2 emission per borewell. At beachhead market of around 500,000 borewells, the CO2 savings of 400,000 metric tons per year can be achieved. Bore charger has achieved tremendous amount of impact. With 1,500 implementations all across India, we have been able to recharge 1.67 billion liters of rainwater and have positively impacted 65,000 beneficiaries. I'm Rahul Bakre, CEO from Michigan State University and an MBA from IIM Calcutta, have around 28 years of experience in software, IT, and water management. Vineet Fadnis is a chief hydrogeologist and has studied in University of Tübingen and has done his MSc in tropical hydrogeology. He has overall 22 years of experience in hydrogeology. Our dream is to recharge more than 1 trillion liters of water per year and develop 5,000 plus water entrepreneurs in India and abroad. At the same time, develop international operations and franchises. Thank you very much.
Alrighty. See. All right, Rahul, if you could just, Jury, I'll let you decide, in which order you wish. Normally, if someone has a particular expertise in a startup, it'd be probably good to lead in the first question for the rest of the jury. And maybe the other ask is that as you go through the 10 startups is maybe to let or rotate who asks first so that there's a balance amongst the jury as well. So please.
I might jump in first there. This question is not so much about the product or anything like that. It's actually about competition. I was just wondering, is there any similar products in the market at the moment? And if so, what do they like and what gives you the edge over them?
Actually, there is no similar market. Basically, what we are doing is India gets 3 months worth rainfall and we use the water for 9 months. So water needs to be stored for 9 months worth water requirement. And the competitive solutions, which are having a farm pond, which takes a lot of space and it takes hundreds and thousands of rupees worth investment. So there is no comparison as a matter of fact. And our technology is probably the only one in the world which is doing the perforations of the existing borewell casing from inside at hydrogeologically appropriate depth.
So my question is a bit about the product itself. So has it been tested? Like, what stage is the technology at?
So actually, it has been tried in 9 states in India as well as in West Africa on 1,500 borewells, and it has given us phenomenal result. We have been able to recharge 1.65 billion liters of water, rainwater in these many borewells. We are now automating the bore charger tool to such an extent that basically there won't be any requirement of a trained hydrogeologist as a educated hydrogeologist. So we are going to develop para-professionals, people who are interested to work in the water sector, and we are going to convert them into service providers, and we are going to transfer this technology to them as a franchisee. So our scaling up strategy is through franchising, and we are currently automating the bore charger, the machine, to such an extent that the technology will decide where to make the perforations.
So essentially the farmers become the franchisees.
Exactly.
That was going to be my next question. Who did you see that would be the franchisee? So you've answered that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Raul, very much for your presentation. I have a question regarding the, of course, you said just like you tested it and it's proven that it's safe to drink. My question is, have you considered any kind of risks, like risks that are associated to the ecology? For example, desalination. Of course, everyone is like, is pro water desalination. We have water shortage everywhere, like as you know that. The problem is desalination has side effects, has really side effects on the seawater and the marine life. Could you tell me about the risk and how did you mitigate them?
Sure. So actually with bore charger, so when does salinity ingression happens is when there is a lot of pumping which is done near a sea coast, right? But near a sea coast, it also rains a lot. So our technology, it's taking fresh water from the topmost aquifer during which gets saturated during rainy season, and it's recharging, enhancing the recharge multifold. So it will rather solve the problem of salinity ingression because we are injecting 4 to 20 times more fresh water compared to what naturally can happen. So this solution will certainly, because this is pushing a lot of sweet water which floats on the salt water, so the salinity ingression will reduce. Second is that we also have got fantastic results from inland salinity infected areas where people have said that the salinity of their bore wells also have reduced. So there were aquifers which were saline in nature, but because of this additional fresh water from the top, now the salinity has started reducing.
Thank you
We
very
have
much.
about 30 seconds or so for one more last question. Anyone else?
I have one quick question, and maybe slightly longer one if you could. The first one is this patented? You might have mentioned it. Okay, this is patented. And the second one, is there any control over how much water should be taken out? So, for example, if there's a period of extreme drought, can you measure, where that water table is at, and so you don't over remove the water?
Yes. So actually, we are also developing a very cheap sensor within few thousand rupees, which can provide the understanding of water level in his or her borewell to a poor farmer, to basically exactly what should be the pumping, sustainable pumping for the farmer. So yes, we are working on that, and we are at advanced stage of development. I hope that answered your question.
No, absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think you're on mute.
Raju, I think you're on mute.
Yikes. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Rahul. Great.
Thank you. Thank you, Raju.
We'll give the jury just a couple of minutes just to put their first thoughts down, and you can just give me a thumbs up when you're ready or something. For the next startup to be ready, it's Peel Labs, followed by Ecosaf. Okay. Jury, Claudia, was that thumbs up for the jury or for me?
For me, like, we can continue. I don't know about the jury.
Okay, you're ready to continue? Okay, great. Amir? Great. Amir, are you there? Yeah. Oh, so I think Amar, I mean the jury.
Yeah, I'm getting I got quite confused. Sorry.
Okay. Well, let's maybe we'll move on to the video for the next and share my screen. Great. Gotta get rid of all these things.
Hi, I'm Miles Chu, in charge of business development here at Peel Lab. At Peel Lab, we are your one-stop provider for plant-based leather upcycled from fruit and vegetable material, serving brands and corporates. Global warming and animal cruelty are the two most pressing and pertinent issues the world faces. Using our upcycling technology in turning fruit and vegetable scraps into plant-based leather and our reliable manufacturing processes, we are a one-stop solution for vegan leather products, including material and manufacturing for corporate customers for an attractive price. The numbers are significant in terms of what we're pursuing here. And the reason why we chose this market is because of its considerable market size in relation to our beachhead market of brands and corporates in Japan. But also as equally important is the fact that our technology is unique in the creation of our plant-based leather. In addition, there exists a number of multinational companies in Japan, which will give us accessibility to global partners in our quest to expand throughout Asia Pacific in the years to come. Our value proposition to our customers is that we give corporate customers an environmental friendly, guilt-free, and cost-efficient alternatives to leather with the convenience of custom design and manufacturing. Peel Lab is the third option, away from the traditional synthetic and real leather. We're ultimately here to provide quality and affordability for the mass market, so everyone has a sustainable choice when it comes to leather products. As mentioned, our B2B product is a one-stop solution. The possibilities are endless. We provide our plant-based leather, raw material, and manufacturing with client designs for the co-creation of products. Our previous products range from fashion items, such as bags and wallets, to menu covers, to pet collars. Our mission is to provide any businesses or individuals with easy solutions to replace traditional animal and synthetic leather with our plant-based leather. Initially, we believed that millennial Japanese customers care about sustainability. We also thought that customers are into adjusting their lifestyle to be more sustainable, and that plant-based leather is a relatively new and foreign concept to customers. Upon talking to 100 millennials in Japan, aged between 28 and 45, we came to realize that customers are very excited about the prospect of plant-based leather products. And as it turned out, aesthetic and unique design is important to customers, but also that they care a lot about the purpose and values of a brand. In 3 to 5 years' time, we will have a market share of 40%. And although our financial model predicts a pretty big 1,000 players, we believe that our first mover advantage will always enable us to innovate and stay ahead of the curve. Furthermore, we're more than willing to work with businesses that are interested in our plant-based leather. And in creating such win-win situations, we can own a market share of 40% of the plant-based leather industry. By replacing animal and synthetic leather with our eco-friendly and low-impact plant-based leather, we truly believe we can considerably mitigate climate change and save animals' lives. We look to reduce CO2 emissions by 595 metric tons in our first year of business alone. Our core team consists of 4 team members, with a vision, business, and international exposure to take Peel Lab to the next level. Our dream is that by 2030, we will replace 5% of all animal leather products in Japan with our plant-based leather, and further in Asia by 2050. We want to become a leading sustainability educator by hosting one monthly educational initiative to raise awareness about animal rights and climate change. Ideally, we will also achieve 10 times our current valuation by 2025. Last but not least, we want to provide a convenient platform to source animal-free vegan leather and empower individuals and corporates to making the right ethical choices for a better world.
Alrighty, great, thank you. Is Jim here?
I'm right here.
Okay, great. And we do have one more jury member, Dominic. Dominic, were you able to see the entire pitch here, or would you like to wait for the next one? You're on mute. Yeah. You're on mute.
I watched the pitch. I thought I was unmuted now.
Yeah.
So here's a unmuted now.
Yeah, you're fine. Sorry, I was just making sure you were ready to be on the.
Yeah. Thank you. I did see the pitch on the video last night.
Okay, great. We'll open this up to questions.
Thank you.
Jim, we'll just let the jury ask the questions. And the jury, if you would like to, someone would like to go first.
Oh, I'll go first. Great, exciting product. It's both a B2B business and a B2C. I did notice that all of the customer interviews that you did were with consumers. So I was wondering if you'd had an opportunity to talk to any businesses to understand the demand.
Sure. So before, I guess, let me show you. This is a sample of our plant-based leather from pineapple leaves. Different colors, different thickness. This one is actually being sent to a shoe factory in Thailand for them to work on their leather shoes. So we're focused on B2B as a priority. Obviously, that trickles down to to the C market as well. And we're focus is really on the more defensive industries, such as the pet industries in Japan. There are 80 million dogs and 30 million cats, as the third largest ownership of pets in the world after US and China. So during COVID, we see an increase of ownership of pet ownership in Japan. So that's one industry we're looking to focus. We're also focused on the sports and wellness sector. So we're now actually in the midst of making our first yoga mat based on the request of our clients in Japan. That's made with a bamboo material, bamboo leather. So we continue to look for opportunities where we can penetrate different verticals outside of the fashion and retail industry.
So did you have an opportunity to talk to any of those businesses?
Yes.
In the customer interviews? Yep.
Yes. And we actually have some revenue, not a lot of revenue, but we do have some revenue right now. So which is already to validate our model. Yes. And we are in production as well. We have a monthly production of 100,000 yards of this material right now. And so we are in production. We are post revenue, which is great. But we are still a startup. It's a small revenue, but it validates our model.
Thanks.
If no one else has a question, I would like to jump. Yeah, thanks for the presentation. I was just I have a minor comment regarding when you talked about how much you produce per product compared to the normal, like the conventional one, and your invention, let's say. I would like just to have it tangible for people who are like not familiar with how much of emissions do you produce and so on. 1.7 kilograms. You could just, let's say, 2 cheeseburgers or something, or like this is how much of. So people really feel it how much you can save. As a second thing, are you like you have to really guarantee the value chain, of course without suppliers you can sell out something. Have you already like considered that? And what if you are offered later on after you opening an offer from the giant companies, like they want to take over your any of e-commerce? What would you do? Thanks.
Sure. So we are very close to our suppliers. That's the raw material, so including all the fruits and vegetables. Southeast Asia has tons of the supplies right now, and that's where our manufacturings are actually. So we're speaking with farmers, plantation owners, even the distributors for fruits and vegetables, as well as juice factories. So I think definitely there's plenty of raw materials for us to continue our supply for raw materials to our customers. And we are working with e-commerce platforms. So it is definitely an area of interest. And we have people reaching out to us from all parts of the world, wanting to see if there's a collaboration that can be made.
Maybe just time for one more question.
Yeah, just quickly following on from that. So I worked within the garment industry for quite a long time in Myanmar, and sort of following on from Amir, safeguarding is a big issue, particularly along supply chains. So I was wondering what checks you have in place for, ESG safeguarding, just making sure that there aren't any big social issues or negative social impacts in that.
Yeah, so thank you. So we don't work with any factories in Myanmar at the moment. We do work with factories in Thailand and Vietnam, as well as in Taiwan. We make sure the factories themselves have the ISO certificate. This is the ISO 9000 certificate. We make sure that they work with other brands already. So in one of our factories, one of them work with Tumi. The other one is working with Puma. So they work with existing international brands already. And obviously, when the borders are open again, we will be going there for our annual or even biannual due diligence checks, kicking the tires, visiting factories, and make sure fair working conditions, fair wages. We're not going for the lowest cost of material. That's not what we're selling. What we're selling is really a sustainable solution that protects the entire supply chain and offers the transparency to our customers.
All right, thank you. I think we're out of time. Thank you, Jim. Jury, if you have 1 or 2 minutes just to score, just let me know when you're ready. Raul at Ecosaf, you're next, so do make sure to be here. To give me a thumbs up. Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm here, but Amir is going to answer the questions. So Amir is also here.
Right. Okay. I think Jury, we're ready to go to the next. Great. Before we start, the next I just want to introduce Dominic. Dominic's on the jury. Dominic again from McCullough Robertson. Thank you again for your time, Dominic. And maybe you want to just introduce yourself to the room for a minute or so.
Thanks very much. So Dominic McGann from McCullough Robertson, and like Stephanie, so a partner in a law firm over here in Australia, and do a lot of work in the environment, resources, and in carbon. And as I started to say, like Stephanie, I'm also on what's called Climate-KIC Australia. And at the moment, having arrived from Cairns, I'm playing catch up, trying to find scorecards and what have you. But I have enjoyed what I've heard so far, and overnight I did have the opportunity to look at all the pictures, which were fantastic. So look forward to participating as best I can as we move forward now.
Right. Thank you. Thank you again. We'll start the next video for startup called Ecosaf. Give me a second to hide all my controls.
Hi everyone, my name is Raúl Aravena and I'm here to talk about Ecosaf and surfactants. Probably you don't know what surfactants are, but for sure you have enjoyed their benefits because surfactants are the key ingredient in every cleaning product that we use every day, providing cleaning capacity to this product. Unfortunately, the most part of them are based on petrochemical. But in Ecosaf, we're going to change this reality through our technology because we have been able to develop a 100% plant-based surfactant and we want to license the production and commercialization of this surfactant to surfactant manufacturers. So they can sell our surfactant to cleaning product formulators and we get a fee per each kilogram of surfactant commercialized. In the beginning, we will be focused on the household laundry detergent market in US, which consume about 30,000 tons of surfactant per year. And in 10 years, we're going to get the global market, which consume about 1.6 million tons of surfactant per year. And this is just one cleaning product category. But as I mentioned before, surfactants are used in every cleaning product. In order to penetrate this market, our value proposition for surfactant manufacturers is to increase 3 times its profit if it is produced Ecosaf instead of a conventional surfactant. And our value proposition for cleaning product formulator is to produce a laundry detergent which performs better and at lower price than green laundry detergent currently available in the market. Surfactant manufacturers and formulators are going to get these benefits because we have developed a highly scalable technology, which means that we can produce large volume of surfactant at low price. Another advantage of our surfactant is it is 100% plant-based and perform as well as petrochemical surfactant and better than current green surfactants available in the market. We have talked with several surfactant manufacturers and formulators in the last year, and we have confirmed that plant-based solutions are highly required in this industry. Also, we have confirmed that Ecosaf properties are highly promising as replacement of petrochemical surfactants. Another key learning has been that the scalability of the process is a key factor when surfactant manufacturers decide to introduce a new surfactant on their portfolio. So far, we have signed some NDAs and MTAs with some companies to work with us in developing our technology. With our product, in 5 years, we estimate to penetrate 30% of the beachhead market, which means a profit of $1.1 million per year. The key drivers to get this penetration are the process scalability and the cost of the raw material because they are directly influence the final price of the surfactant. And another key driver is the market penetration that the surfactant manufacturer is going to have in the beachhead market. But we are not going to be just profitable, we will also help to the surfactant manufacturer to reduce its carbon emission in 25%, which means if we go to the global market, we will be able to reduce in 3.8 million tons per year the CO2 emission of the surfactant industry. And another important climate benefits are that we are going to use waste as raw material and our product is 100% plant-based. Finally, this is our team, Dr. Amir Algata, Professor Jason Hallett, our consultant Tony Martin and I. And our dream is to see Ecosaf in every cleaning product category in the next 20 years. And hopefully you will be enjoying Ecosaf at your home. Thank you so much. And now Amir is happy to answer your questions.
All right, great. Thank you very much. Amir, you're on.
Yes, I'm here.
Great. Jury, please. Any questions?
So, yeah, thanks for the presentation. It was great. So, I mean, there's obviously lots of plant-based detergents on the market, and there will continue to be. So, how will you continue to innovate or improve your processes?
But well, yeah, it's true. Let's say about 10% of the detergent market is actually already green. Let's say, but it's universally recognized that the performances of these detergents are not good. So basically, but this is not something that I'm saying, it is directly from our cost of discovery. If you go directly speaking with people like 7th Generation and the Ecosaf, what they are to this question, they are going to answer, yes, they don't perform as well as the oil derivative one, but our is green. This is going to be their answer. So we are living now in a moment where green is paid as a premium. With Ecosaf, we can actually decrease the price of the current detergents. Not at the same level of the oil derivative one, because we are still in a transition, we don't have the economy of scale, but we can still decrease it. And at the same time, guarantee the same performances of the oil derivative one. So at least this gap is going to be filled. Let's consider a further fact that green detergent market is true that is a big slice, 10%, but it's really struggling to expanding. This because there are strong technology limitations that actually is not fulfilled yet.
Just following up on that, I mean, have you sort of patented your technology then, you know, to give yourself an advantage over the similar amounts of competition? And then, yeah, I would like to hear that.
Yeah, let's consider that our market is not on the is not towards the formulators, so it's not towards the detergent, but we are going toward the surfactant manufacturers, so towards the intermediate step. What we want to do actually is to make, first of all, our ingredient available to the formulators to be used. So our partners are going to be chemical manufacturers. One example can be BASF, DuPont, Dow Chemicals, which sell ingredients, but they don't do branding. So those people are going to sell to the brands, which are going to be able to use Ecosaf in their detergents and add further green credentials. Let's consider that all the green detergents today are derived from palm oil. With Ecosaf, actually, we can cut the usage of palm oil by half by substituting the other half with waste. So this represents further green credential for circular economy and reduction of CO2 emissions.
Great. Dominic or Amar, any questions?
Thank you from my side. Everything was pretty clear. Thanks, Dr. Amir.
No questions. Thanks very much.
All right. Thank you, Amir and Ro.
Sorry, may I add something to the?
Actually, we can only limit
okay.
it to the questions from the jury. But no, thank you very much. Great. Jury, just let me know when you're done with any scoring, so we can move to the next. Okay. Dominic, we're ready to move to the next, or you can let me know. Great. Okay, I think I heard a yes from that. Plantika is next. Just give me a thumbs up, Plantika, that you're here.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay,
hello.
Great. Let me just start your video. Yeah, you can just put yourself on mute. There we go.
The weather conditions are becoming more and more extreme, and I guess we've all experienced it, how it can affect us and how the heat in the city reduces our life quality. We want to create a sustainable and livable future in urban places by bringing back the nature into the city. My name is Mathieu, and today I'm going to present you Plantika, the new way of greening roofs. Let's compare those two pictures here. On the upper one, you can see conventional green roofs. However, many of our cities, they look like this, like in the bottom picture. And for those roofs, there are no greening options yet. And Plantika is going to change this. And here's our deal. We are selling green roof modules for metal and tile roofs to our chosen beachhead market, the municipality of Vienna, for a price of 245 euros per square meters. The green roof market is already huge, and it's growing with an above average of 10% per year. Last year in Europe, it was about 3.2 billion euros. In Austria, made up 110 million euros. And here lies our beachhead market, the municipality of Vienna and its companies, which together account for a roof area of 9.85 million square meters. Vienna wants to reduce the heat island in the cities, and therefore they have implemented several strategic plans, such as the Urban Heat Island Strategy Plan. So what can we actually offer to our beachhead market? Well, one of the strategies foresees 30% more green areas in the inner city, but exactly here the space is very limited, and 30% is impossible with conventional methods. But this is not a problem with Plantika, because we are using areas which couldn't be used before. And this is our main value proposition. We are increasing the green roof potential of cities, and with that we can reduce the temperature, we can increase the efficiency of photovoltaic systems and air conditioning systems, and we can relieve the sewage system in extreme weather conditions. And all this is possible with a very simple solution. Our product is a modular green roof system for sheet metal and tiled roofs. And this is unique so far. The mounting is very simple and flexible, and there's no modification on the roof needed itself. And the best is we can mount it on almost every already existing roof. To sum it up, we can increase the green roof potential of cities. Our concept is already patented, and Plantika is a protected trademark name. To find out our beachhead market, we conducted several interviews, and here are our key learnings. The citizens are suffering from the heat, but they are not aware of the positive effects of green roofs. Second, our first version of our product didn't meet the criteria for subsidies, so we had to adapt. And second, the city of Vienna is a key driver for greener and smarter cities, and that is actually true. The support which you are getting here is just overwhelming. And here's the outlook into our financials. With this module, we found out that our key drivers are the cost per product, the market share, and the net price. With an average of 10 projects per month, we can achieve a profit of 1.7 million euros in 5 years. But above all, we do this to contribute to climate protection. And with Plantika, we can provide a benefit to the environment in multiple ways. Here on the left side, you can see the major contribution factors. First, the plants are binding CO2. Second, due to the cooling effect of the green roofs, we can increase the efficiency of air conditioning systems, and thereby we can reduce the CO2 emission caused by the energy consumption. And we can avoid F-gases. So let's assume we have greened 25% of our beachhead market. So with this we can reduce the CO2 emissions by almost 14,000 tons. Regarding those factors on the left side, it would be a reduction of the carbon footprint by almost 50%. And all this was made possible by our amazing and ambitious team. Together we are covering different disciplines, and we dream of bringing back the nature into the city by greening 10% of Vienna roofs. We want to improve the quality of life by reducing the heat island effect of 20%, and with a very simple solution, we want to achieve a big impact to fight against climate change. Thank you very much.
All righty. Thank you, Matthew. Great. Jury, over to you.
Great presentation. Sorry, Tashin. You mentioned subsidies. So is that something that the municipality provides?
Yes, especially in Vienna, the subsidies are really big. They go up to 20,000 euros, but we have to fulfill like criteria. They're based on an Ö-norm, and this Ö-norm is like quite old, and it's already 15 or 20 years old. But because it's regarding on the like years ago, the green roof was made on was based on like a real earth, and we have a wool which is like is a subsidy for this. So the Urdhvam is quite old, and that's why we didn't met the criteria for the old Urdhvam, but we already had some interviews with the Grünstadtbau, which is like the brand for the green roofs, and as well the municipality of Vienna together to change the Urdhvam, because they will have some discussions coming up next year to adapt the Urdhvam.
And so your financials do rely on the subsidies, so the customer getting the subsidy, is that right?
No. The financial plan, we didn't. This is a benefit for the customer, because this is our product has a price, and then we calculated, okay, we have an average of this amount of modules which we can sell realistically now at the beginning, and this would result in a profit. The subsidies are for the consumer, so they will buy our product, and the municipality of Vienna, they help with this.
I was going to ask a question regarding who's the customer, but I think you just clarified. So because I was a bit confused, who's going to pay what things. So you are right now, you are in the ideation phase, like you still like you can't start unless the strategy is in place, right?
Sorry, I didn't understand. We didn't. What you want to know? A phase of the startup now?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's still quite early stage. We have some pilot project in Munich, and just last week ago we got the confirmation for us first project in Vienna. So this will be our first project in Vienna. So we're just about to start. And regarding the customers, we have different customer segments. On the deal slide, maybe you've noticed we have a B2B sector and we have a B2G sector. And with the workshops, we found out that the B2G sector, especially in Vienna, would be our beachhead market, because they're focusing so much on fighting the urban heat island and making cities greener. And we see all these accelerated programs towards this in the subsidies. So we have the B2G market, but as well the B2B. So big companies and real estate companies who are like making property development, who are as well our customers.
Any more questions?
I got one question about maintenance, actually, because I know in the UK with lots of these city green projects, a big issue is making sure that they basically maintain their integrity and stay green, because on top of a rooftop is a difficult place to have a garden, basically. Yeah. And so often these things they just fall apart after a year or so. So I'd like to hear what Plantika was doing to prevent that happening.
Yeah, maintenance is always a issue with a green roof, because every green roof, doesn't matter how it's constructed, needs to be like some maintenance, and this means like to check at least once a year if the plants are not growing into some parts where they shouldn't, or if the nutrition for the plants are still sufficient. So we have to do at least once per year a maintenance, like just to check on it. And regarding the because we wanted to reduce maintenance to the maximum. And the modules there for the moment are and they have the layers are absorbing a lot of water. So, and the plants are very resistant. They can withstand dry periods of 6 weeks, up to 6 weeks, and this should cover like even the biggest dry periods in the summertime. So this should be sufficient to the plants are surviving the dry periods, and there is no maintenance need except of the one which is like basically mandatory, just to check once in a year.
All right, thank you. I think we ran out of time. Thank you, Matthew.
Thanks a lot.
Okay. Julie, I'll just give you a couple of minutes, 1 or 2 minutes, to let me know when you're ready. Great. Amar, are you Ready to go? Okay, great. Dominic, I hope you're ready as well. We're gonna we'll have one more startup. Natoure, if you're there, just give me a thumbs up. After which we'll take a 5-minute break, bio break, or even those pending calls and messages that need to be responded to quickly. So I think we're ready for this one. Great.
Have you ever traveled to a beautiful place and when you return after a while, you discover that that place has changed so much that it has lost its magic? I want to tell you a story about an amazing trip I took with this girl I met. Our first adventure was to one of the largest orchid mountain forests, homeland of the Andean bear. As engineering students, we carry all the technology in order to stay on track. But guess what? We got lost. My biggest fear was to find a big bear in the middle of the night. After a while, that girl came to Mexico and I joined her. I found a dream job in an oil company, and in a blink of an eye, 10 years passed. We returned to our homeland and we discovered that that beautiful forest had disappeared. In the minute I've been telling this story, 21 football fields of forests have disappeared in Latin America. 21 football fields of forests are gone forever. And actually, 1/3 of climate change is due to biodiversity loss. That's why we decide to follow our heart and to take action in order to protect what we love. In this way, we founded Natoure in 2016, understanding troubles as a great way to make a positive change to heal nature. Natoure is a community of travelers that take care of nature, having a fair trade marketplace that connects travelers directly with local communities who protect nature, and also to connect them with park rangers. Each trip contributes to protect natural parks, boost local economies, while providing memorable experience for our travelers. Every time a booking is done, we charge an extra fee to the traveler, and we also have a subscription model. Nature tourism is a fast-growing market, and actually, according to the UNWTO, 1 of every 4 travelers in the world is actually a nature traveler, generating a $34 billion market and almost $1 billion market in Mexico, distributed in 2 locations that are actually our beachhead market, Cancun and Mexico City, where, as you can see, where most of the value is concentrated on foreign travelers, even though they are less. In this way, we generate value to local communities since they receive 100% of the price for the products sold, support to create market-fitted products, and show their conservation efforts. Park rangers can connect with local communities in order to set limits and rules to avoid massive tourism. They also can access to travel flow information to make better policies. Finally, you, as traveler, can live memorable and secure travel experiences to the most amazing places, connecting with local communities, wonderful people, delicious food, and unparalleled nature, while you drastically reduce your travel footprint and support conservation of these places. Natoure is a fair trade marketplace for sustainable travel products that creates social inclusion, economical fairness, and the conservation of natural parks as our mission. How we do it? Since we can change what we can measure, we develop EcoRate, are those green leaves that actually are the first sustainable tourism index in the world that measures and balances travel impacts. Our market is based on millennial local travelers and baby boomer foreign ones. And after a series of interviews, we discovered that the most valuable things are safety, authentic food, pet-friendly places, and accessible lodging options in order to escape at least 1 weekend per month. Foreign travelers also value slow traveling, authentic Mexican food, small groups, and simple logistics to reach these amazing places. Our target is to reach 15% of nature tourism market in Mexico and then expand to Latin America, generating a profit of $100 million in the following 3 years. Our climate impact is based on mitigation in 2 ways. First, reducing the travel footprint in 73%. This will generate to avoid 22 million tons of CO2 in the following 3 years. And second, conserving the natural areas we visit. Every travel supports the conservation of almost half an hectare. So we are gonna stock almost 334 million tons of CO2 just by conserving those areas. We are a group of engineers, earth scientists, and filmmakers that dream with a united Latin America. We are the most biodiverse region in the world. However, we are the most unequal and the most overexploited. So we need to be united to change this. My name is Rodolfo Salinas. I am founder of Natoure, and I want to thank you for supporting us and for being part of the change.
All right, great. Thank you, Rodolfo.
Thanks.
Jury?
From what I recall from the pitch last night, because I appreciate I've just been trying to get back in, is it fair to say, is it anything particularly unusual about the platform that you're using? Is there anything unique about it, or is it a, if I could say, is it a standard platform? It's an adaptation.
Oh, thanks for your question. Actually, we have three things that make us different. The first thing are those green leaves that measure sustainability in a systematical, dynamic way. Second, we created the first conservation and travel map. So any traveler can go into a natural protected area, see the species, the travel products, the communities, and the impacts. And third, our data model is thinking into the creation of artificial intelligence model in order to balance tourism, because right now we don't have information of troubles and we have no information about conservation in Latin America. So for us, troubles are the perfect excuse to create those kind of data and use it with intelligence in order to create better policies. So as you can see, for us, troubles are just our perfect excuse to to contribute to conservation.
Yeah, no, it's a very compelling pitch in terms of the importance of managing the environment. And I'm just curious, is it also then substitutable? Can it be used in other, it can be, the basic platform can be used in other locations?
Yeah, actually, we thought that it could be used in all the world. Right now, we work with UICN in order to work in more than 7,000 natural protected areas in Latin America. And we are ready to expand because we switch our model to be scalative. So we were working in pilots in Colombia, Peru, Bolivia, and Cuba before pandemic, but we are ready to be back on track now.
So actually, the pandemic is a good segue. So obviously, at the moment, travel is quite unpredictable with the pandemic. How have you factored that risk?
Well, you know, pandemic was as tourism, we suffered the biggest impact, talking about economy. So what did we do? We do two things in order to not going crazy, because we lost more than 14 months with no sales. So we proposed to the government to work with all sectors and communities in order to create a national program for sustainable travel. So we created with the government, with the Mexican Sustainable Tourism Strategy 2013, aligned to the SDGs. So we commit the government in order to create the mechanisms to boost our market after pandemics, because Mexico is a great country about tourism. However, it's not the best tourism. It's very unfair. It pollutes a lot, and the money is not for the Mexicans. From $100, $86 goes out to foreign investors. So right now we are running this national strategy, and it's cool because 200 organizations already are being part of this, and we are making a travel revolution here in Mexico.
Hey there. Great pitch, very passionate. Thank you. Just a quick question about team composition. When you're developing these sort of software apps, it's really important to have very good developers. And I was just wondering, is there that expertise within your team existing, or do you outsource it?
Yeah, thanks. Actually, the first time we use an outsource in order to fast track. However, it didn't work. So we decided to create the competition in our team. So right now we have 3 people, 3 system engineers working. They are very creative, and we are very happy because all we have are things that we created. We changed our technology to React Native in order to use another features for Android and iOS with a low investment and effort about technology stuff.
I'm sorry, just like last comment, sorry. It's a great, as like everyone said. I'm just curious about the validation and the verification process. Like you are listing yourself things, or like I had a look at the website. It's fantastic. I would like to really see it scaling in the future in different other areas outside of Latin America. My concern is related to the verification process, and also be careful from the payments later on. Things we even encounter here in my company regarding the e-commerce. But please talk a little bit, or clarify the listings, how it looks like. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks. We have a verification process for organizations that provide tourism services. So not anyone can be part of Natoure. We invite most of them, and we make an sustainable assessment. We have 48 criteria, and if they have more than 82%, they can be part of Natoure, and we give them an access so they can do everything in the platform, create products. And about payment is very important, because with cryptocurrency, we have suffered a lot of attacks, so we have learned. And actually, we are using PayPal in a secure way in order to provide security for the travelers, but especially for communities, because it's important to make the money arrive to the ones who need it.
Super.
Thanks.
Thank you, Rodolfo. Great.
Thanks to all.
Great. We're halfway through, 5 more left, and we do have a 5-minute break, bio break, or other break calls or anything, and also the jury needs time. So let's say 5:10. I don't know what time that is in CEST. 1:40 p.m. CEST. Is that right? We'll come back in 7 minutes. Great. See everyone back, and just so I can let someone know, Viajeromarket is coming up. Okay. See everyone in 7 minutes.
Claudia, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi. This score sheet, is it uploading or what?
Yeah, so I see that you're making notes, and I think then the overall...
It's actually, yeah, it's quite interesting, because on the Plantika one, and maybe we'll talk about this as the jury, I think the question
you
that
will
Stephanie asked is it profitable? Does it have its own profit other than the subsidy?
Oh, that I don't know.
Okay, I guess we'll talk about it now. How do I get the slide? You know, the global,
The nice background,
yeah.
you mean? Okay.
Yeah.
Can you see
So I've
on
opened it
your?
up in the internet.
No worries. Can you see
Yeah.
on your left bottom, like video or stop video?
Well, actually, I've got something here. Left button. Yeah, video. Yeah, stop video.
Don't stop the video. Okay. But there's like an arrow or something, and you can click on that and then choose virtual background.
Oh, virtual background. Okay.
Yeah. And then in your emails, you had like those nice green and blue, and I think the other one was pink backgrounds. And if you download one, you can just grab that on the, there's like a plus sign on the, like,
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, where is it? Because it's got blur. Oh God.
Yeah, it has blur, and you have like some other.
Yeah, it doesn't have the ones you sent me background.
Yeah, there's like a. Do you see a plus on the right, like just below your video picture? There's like a plus sign, kind of, and there you can upload and add image.
Oh, okay.
Do you see
I've
it?
got.
Wait, I can also...
It says choose virtual background, which I did. Video settings. Jesus. There's I got this one.
I can share my
Because
screen.
I've got the screen.
Wait, I share my screen and then you can see my so there I go in virtual background, and then you have this plus here. Do you see that?
Which one's that one? Where's that one?
Do you see? Do you see my mouse moving?
No, your mouse is not coming up on mine. Oh.
Okay, then it doesn't work the way I wanted.
Let me just see if I can. You're back there. That's good. It just says.
I also try to send you a screenshot.
Share screen, background filters. General. I have a green screen, mirror my video. Because as I say, it there is on the bottom.
Yeah, usually like if you're in the settings with background and filters, and then there's like a plus for like add image or add video.
It just says virtual background video filters. Filters has been disabled. Virtual background none, and blur. And
okay, I have none.
Oh,
blur.
so it does have a plus sign. Add image. Add image.
Yeah. There you got it.
Okay, now where do I find that one?
Yeah, you should have it. If you have downloaded it.
He's really enjoying or listening to all this. The Australian dinosaur is alive and well.
No worries, you got you covered. I think it's also the least important thing, but it's nice to have, right?
Yeah. Well, actually, why don't we have a chat about some of the stuff that's been going on, if that's okay?
You will have time after all the pitches to discuss with the jury. So I think maybe that would make it,
good.
And they maybe can also keep you updated about the first two because you missed them.
I saw the as I say, I watched the vegan one and the ball recharger. I don't know, it's quite interesting.
Right. Great. Just waiting for Stephanie and Amr.
So where is everybody around the world?
I think it's now covered in Europe/UK and Australia from the jury.
So from the jury is Tatman is in the UK, yeah, and Steph's in Aussie, as am I. And where's everybody else?
I'm in India.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm in
Fantastic.
India. So.
Nice. I'm in the Netherlands at the moment, and Amr is in Germany.
Okay. Oh,
Right.
fantastic.
And there's a wide spread of regions where the startups are. Actually,
Yes,
in this room, which is great.
it's everywhere.
From Latin America to Japan, actually. Super. I think, Amr, are you back? Okay, well, then maybe just 1 minute. So he doesn't miss the start. We just do you mind pinging him on yeah, the WhatsApp? Great. Okay. Excuse me. In case he may be stuck, he could come back later, or we can adjust in the jury deliberations. So we can start. Okay, Viajeromarket is here. Great. Let me share the screen. Okay.
Hi, everybody. I'm Sergio Casquero, founder of Viajeromarket, a virtual platform that helps travelers plan their trip to the most unique Amazonian destinations in less than 15 minutes while making positive impact in the local communities. The Peruvian Amazon is one of the most biodiverse areas on the planet, making it the perfect place as a touristic destination. However, the local entrepreneurs lack the means and know-how to promote themselves and the Amazon beauty, which makes their visibility and presence in the competitive travel industry close to none. Viajeromarket bridges the gap and connects the global market of travelers with the Amazonian entrepreneurs via an app. The travelers can easily find all the available Amazonian destinations in one central place. Unlike traditional business, Viajeromarket engages itself to promote and work directly with the local communities in order to create a more inclusive and sustainable entrepreneurial ecosystem. In exchange for having access to all of these unique options, our travelers will pay a 4% fee based on the total trip purchase value, which in the example of the slide corresponds to $5. Our budget market are Peruvian travelers from 30 to 15 years old from developed cities, representing a group of around 90,000 people, in total spending about $700,000 per year. They have a tendency to travel 2 times per year within the country for doing tourism. Financially, they are doing well and are willing to explore the Amazonian region if more information is available. The next segment will be the entire Latam continent by 2024. And finally, by 2026, we aim for Viajeromarket to be used globally for a value of $11 million. We solve 2 important pain points: the time spent on planning the trip and reduce the cost of the trip. Via Viajeromarket, the customer will be able to plan their trip up to 8 times faster. This is possible because we centralize all the required travel information in a user-friendly way. The other benefit is to reduce the cost of trip from $160 to $125. This will be made possible by us being closely tied with the local communities and because the range of options to choose from will be double compared to other apps. Our product includes a user-friendly mobile app where our travelers will find all the information needed to plan their trip all within 15 minutes. They will be able to view the stories and profiles of the local entrepreneurs that they are supporting, so they are directly linked to the impact they are making. They will also be able to connect with these Amazonian entrepreneurs and later recommend this service to their friends for future visits. Our team is proud to share that we already have established a partnership with 3 different touristic companies in Madre de Dios. And finally, we believe the product can be easily scaled and applied to other regions and markets. We interview 32 frequent Peruvian travelers and 5 local Amazonian entrepreneurs. Based on the interviews, we validate our key assumptions and learn that 84% travelers would like to visit to the Amazon, but the majority does not have an easy overview of the possibilities. and almost half of the people is willing to pay something extra via the app to get a unique experience in return. Our financials show that the Viajeromarket can be self-sustainable and profitable. Our key elements are the net price per product, which is $5, a market share of 10%, and an average 1.5 products per deal. The numbers we can see on the slide represent year 5, and by targeting a market share of 10%, Viajeromarket can make a profit of $861,000. With 100% of the beachhead market, we can save around 10 tons of CO2 emissions per year. It will be possible because the tourists spend only 15 minutes for all the transactions they need to organize their trips. Also, Viajeromarket supports the development and growth of the Amazonian entrepreneurial sector by creating 5,000 fair jobs by 2026 and promote 250 new sustainable business in that year. This is our team. Mayra Muñoz, our operation manager, Melanie Medina, our sales and product manager, and myself, Sergio Casquero, founder with 10 years of experience in leading teams and developing entrepreneurial business. Our dream is to improve the Peruvian Amazonian economy and conditions for the local people. Our target is to increase the number of available destinations and expand the geographical scope in 8 regions by 2024 and get our revenue as planned. Thank you very much for your attention.
All right, great. Thank you, Sergio and team. Great, now over to the jury.
Thank you, Sergio, for your presentation. I enjoyed it, and I have family that are Peruvian, so I enjoyed it a little more for that reason as well. The actual platform, is there anything particular we should be aware of about the actual platform you're using, or is it a lot? Is there something particularly innovative that we should be mindful of in the platform?
I think if I can answer that question, my name is Melanie and I also part of the team. So I think the uniqueness of our platform is that we centralize all the information, that it's a spread, and it's not easy to find for the clients, potential clients. So that's something that it's definitely useful from our tool. We also reduce the time spent on planning the trips to the Amazon. But I think next to this competitive advantage, the biggest, positive impact that we can create via Viajeromarket is that we are an inclusive business model. So we work together with the entrepreneurs, to manage these language barriers and bring them or put them in the map. So this is the innovation that we can highlight regarding not only all the information in one central place, reducing the time, but also bringing an inclusive business model that is outside of the traditional ways of doing business. Yeah.
I just had a quick question, sorry, on the clarification of the business model. You were saying there was going to be sort of $5 per holiday. And I just was trying to work out where that $5 was coming from. Is it sort of a $5 charge to book on the system, or is it, but you mentioned also there's going to be, the opportunity to get products from entrepreneurs and small businesses in the locations where they're visiting. So I'm just wondering where that $5 was coming from.
Yeah, sure. So what we're going to do is basically charge 4%. So in the video, you will see an example of $5 based on the amount that we took as an example, but we're going to charge 4% on the price that users paid. And that will allow us to cover our expenses, but also to make some income. Now, the good thing is that Viajeromarket will be downloaded by free. And during the first year, it's not within our plan to charge that percentage immediately. But yeah, in the near future, of course.
And my question is a similar one to the one I asked in the last one, which is just taking the risks of COVID and what that means for travel, and how you propose to deal with that risk?
Absolutely. I think the good thing about Viajeromarket is that it's currently under development. So we're working closely with entrepreneurs, the local authorities. Next to Viajeromarket, we have a side business. It's a social incubator called the Peruvian Social Incubator. So we're leveraging, our network to work closely with these different stakeholders that are relevant for Viajeromarket. It's because of the incubator research or the feedback from our entrepreneurs that we decide to move forward with Viajeromarket, because there is a gap in the market. So how are we going to cope with the COVID situation right now? What we're doing is doing the right research, and it's also proven by research that after a health crisis, economic crisis, health crisis, is that people start to make savings, and immediately afterwards they start to travel. So I think that will be great, because we will be ready by then to implement the tool. So this is how we're going to mitigate this COVID situation.
Okay, great. I think we're up out of time. Thank you very much, Sergio and Melanie. Great.
Thank you.
We'll just give a couple of 1 or 2 minutes for the jury. Put their first thoughts down. I think everyone looks ready. Dominic, are all good to go? Okay, great. Soyl-Gel, if you're here, just give me a thumbs up. Great.
Hello.
All right. You can just put it on mute and we'll start. Yeah. Okay.
Makes their
Hello, my name is Senem, co-founder at Soyl-Gel. We produce smart hydrogels for sustainable agriculture applications. With Soyl-Gel, we address the problem of inefficient use of fresh water and chemicals in agriculture sector. We know that 70% of usable freshwater resources in the world are spent on agriculture. But on the other side of the coin, many agricultural areas face the water scarcity problem. Therefore, our technology is crucial for sustainable agriculture to balance the effects of water scarcity all around the world. To bring a sustainable solution to water problem, we offer our product Soyl-Gel for 13 euros per kilogram, particularly to the farmers who suffer from drought due to irregular precipitation. At the beginning, we will be focusing on wheat producers, providing enhanced crop yield with only 5 kilograms of Soyl-Gel per hectare. Irregular precipitation regime drastically affects grain production, which is among the mostly produced plants globally. According to United States Department of Agriculture projections, 28% of the world's total grain production is based on wheat, and 3% of the planting areas are located here in Turkey. So our beachhead market is wheat planting farmlands in Turkey, which experiences intense drought as shown by recent NASA images. According to our greenhouse and field trials, we foresee an up to 30% increase in crop yield. There are some competitive hydrogel producers in the market, but with the innovative step we brought to production, Soyl-Gel has numerous advantages over them, including 10 times longer water retention, active ingredient delivery capability, and higher durability under soil that enables it to use it on trees, which has roots going much deeper than annual plants. In addition, Soyl-Gel dominates over drip irrigation in terms of sustainability, as there are tons of plastic waste produced as a result of drip irrigation. So what is Soyl-Gel made of? Soyl-Gel is a superabsorbent, biodegradable and nanocomposite polymer, and when it blends and contacts with water, it swells more than 600 times of its own weight. As the soil gets dry, Soyl-Gel slowly releases its water content. Along with water, it also provides plant protective agents, delivers them to plants in a controlled manner. This way,
water and agrochemicals are delivered in an amount that is just enough for plant protection, so the excessive use of chemicals is prevented. Soyl-Gel enables agriculture in arid regions, acting as a subsoil water and nutrient reservoir, helps preserve natural resources. In our customer discovery efforts, we have so far contacted 25 farmers, 6 agrochemicals dealers, 2 municipalities, and 2 large-scale agricultural production plantations. Farmers particularly stress the extreme climate change they suffer in recent years and state that all their hard work is gone and wasted when they didn't get enough or too much rainfall during the season. Small-scale producers are more influenced by drought as they are unable to provide extra irrigation due to water scarcity and/or the cost concerns. Soyl-Gel has a market entry price of €13 per kilogram, and we expect 1.3 million profit per year in 2025 by reaching only 2% of the target market. Our key value drivers are listed as raw materials prices, sales commissions, and total annual wheat cultivation area. And here is what Soyl-Gel has to say about climate impact. With our product, we are able to save up to 50% of fresh water, and this is our main impact. In addition to that, Soyl-Gel keeps the plant protective products close to plant roots, preventing them from bleaching, which in turn helps to reduce the use of soil agrochemicals by up to 50%. This means that when we reach 2% of our beach market in 5 years, we will be able to eliminate 17,000 tons of carbon dioxide emissions per year. Here is Team Soyl-Gel. Our dreams shape around the basis of the preservation of precious natural resources. We believe it is time to help the environment today and give back to nature. And we also believe the only way to do so is to make a change in agricultural practices towards sustainability at every step, and nanotechnology has a lot to offer about it. And as a final note, I'd like to emphasize that if we want to see more genius in art, as in the Great One goes, we have to start investing on nature. Thank you.
All right. Great. All right, Jiri, all over to you.
I just have a quick question because I enjoyed the presentation.
Thank you.
I just wanted to, because I initially thought that the Soyl-Gel was addressing the impact of climate change, but towards the end of the presentation, you also explained how it reduces net carbon emissions of 17,000 tons. Can you just take me through, in addition to addressing the impact of climate change by being a product that has greater water absorbency, just take me through again how it reduces climate change by reducing carbon emissions? Is it that way because you're not using as much fertilizer? Is it?
Yeah, sure. Carbon emission even arises from irrigation practices that are used in conventional agriculture. I mean, most of the farmers, especially just tree farmers, I can say, they use motorized products to do the irrigation. They use tanks, and they apply it 2 or 3 times a year for a huge amount of fields, like hectares of fields. So by simply reducing the use of gas and these vehicles and removing them out of the picture, or eliminating the use of them, reducing the use of them, directly contributes to the carbon dioxide, reducing carbon dioxide emission. In addition to that, Soyl-Gel also can provide plant protective agents, active ingredients, in a controlled manner, along with water. So these fertilizers or pesticides that are used under soil, I mean, the use of these chemical products will be reduced using Soyl-Gel. I'm not saying it will be eliminated 100%, but it will be reduced in a significant amount. As a project, it's 90%. So that also contributes to the carbon dioxide emission. I hope this replies your question.
Yeah, it does. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I have a quick question about the sort of technology itself. You might touch already in the presentation, but am I right saying is this gel then starch or lignin based? Because because I know with some of these soil gels, they say they're biodegradable, but actually, they have some petrochemical or other, substrates in them, which are actually quite damaging for the environment. Even though they quote unquote biodegrade, they actually leave, some quite nasty substrates in there. And also linked with that, there's a sort of can be a seepage effect of these soil gels that they, spread into the areas that are not just, where the crops are and affect like the local ecosystems by, changing the soil structure there. And so I just would like to hear, what mitigations you have against that and actually how it's, how biodegradable is it, I suppose.
All the biodegradable, all the hydrogels that are saying that we are 100% biodegradable, that can only swell up to 25 or 30 times of their own weight. In order to reach the hydrogel or super absorbent levels, you need to mix all the hydrogels in the market. All the technology level is here is the mixture of a natural product and plus some little amount of petrochemicals. So Soyl-Gel has an advantage over the others. We include some naturally occurring nanotubes, which is a side product of silica mining. So it also contributes to the circular economy as well. This is another aspect of it. But with these natural nanotubes, we have observed that the biodegradation is much effective than the others. And plus, what was the second question? Sorry.
And just the seepage, how do you control it within the farm area so it doesn't affect, the balance of local or nearby ecosystems?
Mm-hmm. We have been through extensive biocompatibility experiments and in the recent months, and what we have observed was that Soyl-Gel promotes the helpful bacteria that takes place under soil, which are called as entomopathogen bacteria, which helps fight the certain types of pests. So it can also act as an environment to survive for these type of entomopathogen bacteria, and this means that it is compatible with what's going on under soil. So we have also tests that shows that it has some antibacterial. And it shows antibacterial properties. So and it does not leave residue. We have also recently tested that one. Yeah, I think that's all. We are going through all the biocompatibility tests recently.
All right, thank you. I think we're out of time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll just give the jury a minute or so to get ready for the next. Amar, Dominic, you guys, you two ready? Great. Dominic, we start the next. He's frozen.
Yeah, I'm good.
Oh yeah, good, great. Sphere Tech, thanks. I see you on screen. Let me share my screen.
Hi everyone. So the CEO of SolarStream, which is part of PepsiCo, has just finished the construction of his new facility in the Negev Desert in Israel. He sits down with his cooling consultant, asking him his options for cooling. The consultant replies, water-based cooling systems are perfect for hot and dry climates. The CEO replies, excellent, but the consultant continues, they are expensive and require extensive maintenance. What is my other option? The CEO asks. The consultant replies, air-cooled systems. They are cheaper and have low maintenance. Unfortunately, when the temperature rises, electricity consumption for air-cooled systems will increase dramatically, reaching a peak demand on hot days. Hi again, my name is Ali. I'm the CTO and co-founder of Sphere Technologies. The problem of this CEO, or what Sphere's innovative solution will solve. Our technologies offer industries significant cost savings. For a monthly fee over 5 years, they will receive from us a complete system with a cooling capacity of 1.5 million BTUs. The system will give them major cost reductions in both power use and maintenance for the cooling systems. We are aiming at the global market. We will start domestically in Israel with over 8,000 customers for industrial cooling systems. After that, Italy, which has over 74,000 customers. In the future, we plan to integrate our solution into other cooling systems, including IT rooms and even domestic AC units, which will increase the market substantially. From the customer's point of view, Sphere's solution costs the same as a traditional air-cooled system, but has a significant reduction in the annual total cost as compared to air-cooled systems. In addition, it has unique advantages, which include low maintenance, high resilience and extended product life, and most importantly, adaptation to extreme high temperatures. Cooling towers, which can offer some of these advantages, are currently considered uneconomical below a cooling capacity of 1.5 million BTUs, as you can see here. How does it work? We take the hot coolant from the industrial process through our system, where it is cooled down using the ambient air together with extremely small amounts of water. This is the heart of our patent. By using an innovative approach, we are able to reduce the amount of water which circulates in our system to less than 1% as compared to other based cooling systems. This enables us to reduce power consumption and initial costs. In addition, our system uses a wet bulb environment, making it highly adapted to extreme high temperatures and reducing power consumption by more than 40% as compared to air-cooled systems. For the past year, we have met experts from different branches in the industry and discovered the important aspects that need to be addressed. Electricity is the most significant expense when dealing with cooling systems. However, cooling consultants will tend to prefer solutions with easy maintenance. I should add that already a number of firms, including SolarStream, are interested in doing the pilot stage with us. Our profitable service model in Israel is based on a market share of 15%, which is the key driver together with the system reliability and service fee. This model prediction will allow us to continue to evolve into additional markets and then develop additional products based on our solution. In accordance with the projected market share, we will reduce carbon emissions in Israel by over 200,000 tons per year. This is mainly due to the reduction in power consumption. In the future, our system will reduce emission of refrigerant gases as well, which are considered to be a major contributor to global warming. Our leading team in Sphere includes Yair Swed as CEO, which has extensive experience in project managing, and myself as a CTO with experience in planning and constructing large-scale systems. To conclude, implementing our technology in all systems will reduce a country's electricity demand for cooling by 40%. This will be the most significant contribution that will come out of our solution. Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Great. Thank you, Ari. Over to the jury now.
Hello, Arik. Thanks for the presentation. I would like to know what kind of applications you're going to use, because you are referring or you're comparing to the cooling towers. And according to my knowledge, cooling towers are in power plants. What kind of applications are you planning to use this? And I didn't also get the climate impact. How do you really, yeah, you said 40% less. Of course, we know that electricity like reduce the emissions, but you're referring to the electricity. I would have loved to see it in terms of how many of kilograms emissions that would make. Thanks.
Okay, so thank you for the questions.
If you're talking about cooling towers are traditionally, you can find them almost everywhere in industrial processes, usually in cooling capacity over 1.5 million BTUs. It's not just power plants, but almost every industrial process that needs high cooling capacity will use a cooling tower. What we're aiming at is basically integrated our solution into systems that are actually smaller than 1.5 million BTUs, because cooling towers, as I mentioned before, are considered to be uneconomical under this capacity because of all sorts of limitations of water usage and chemicals and maintenance, basically. So our market basically is between 1.5 million BTUs and 150,000 BTUs, which is basically the industrial aspect of this of the cooling systems. Can you go over the second question?
Yeah, regarding the second question, I mean the climate impact. You mentioned 40%. This is like, do you consider that this is kind of measure like as an indicator for climate impact? 40% less of electricity.
So we can use our, basically we have some lab measurements, but what we use for now is taking the annual temperature difference along the year in Israel and referring to the wet bulb temperature, meaning that we take what our system works basically on a wet bulb temperature, meaning that the cooling system will work at the environment that is a lot lower than the actual temperature outside, which with calculation, basically you can see a reduction between 40 even to 70% during the day of cooling systems. And you can also take it from cooling towers that are connected to cooling systems. You can actually see the difference in air-cooled system between water-based cooling systems. So this is basically what we did over here.
Thanks.
So have you actually started manufacturing these, Date?
Okay, so what we have now is basically a small prototype running in our lab in Israel. We are just now in the middle of assembling a prototype to an industrial facility here in Israel. Actually, the facility will either be, as I said before, SodaStream, or even the EDF Renewables, which is part of our systems.
So essentially the trial is about the application of the technology.
Can you repeat that?
So the trial is about the application of the technology.
Yeah, just to see how good the system actually operates in real life environment.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I think we're almost out of time. If there are no other questions, I think we're good. All right, thank you. Thank you, Adi. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Super. Great. We'll give a jury a minute just to put their thoughts down. And looks like everyone's pretty much ready. Yeah, great. So next up is Coconan. Shivani, if you could just give me a signal you're there. Okay, great. Okay.
So the C.
Mauritius is branded as a holiday destination, its tagline being Swiss Island, Swiss for Sustainable. With a population of 1.3 million, we are ranked top 5 across Africa with a high Human Development Index, but counter-wise ranked top 20 global-wide as most vulnerable to risk of climate change. As a small island developing state injecting billions into infrastructural development, we risk losses of up to 80 million euros per year for failing to adapt to intensifying tropical cyclones and alarming sea level rise. Hereby, to offer a grassroots approach solution, Coconan's focus is into manufacturing cost-effective performance geotextiles to tackle foremost land and beach erosion by restoring vegetation cover. Here's our deal. Coconan processes locally sourced coconut fibers into performance geotextiles to cater for both private and public green construction developers as from €1,500 per 1,000 meters square. As a first step to enter the market, Mauritian green construction developers our chosen beachhead market worth at around €200 million. The reason for such choice is due to their high diligence to meet up with green building certifications such as the LEED, and hence their willingness to substitute material to decrease carbon footprint and increase climate resilience. With up to 50% reduction in project costs, our customers will benefit cost effectiveness without compromising performance. Here is how. Operational optimization in terms of easier and accelerated construction, resource efficiency in terms of reduction in volume usage of select materials such as steel reinforced concrete, and finally livable communities by protecting flora and fauna. Coconut fibers being locally and regionally easily available is also renewable, making it a sustainable material that will not only contribute to our circular economy but also increase our resilience to flash floods. The resulting product, which is quartz geotextile, has the following prominent features: high tearing strength, secondly, its biodegradability at end of life, and thirdly, it has high resistance to saline environment, which makes it suitable to handle coastal erosion management. How does it work? Since land cover is indirectly proportional to erosion, the application of quartz geotextiles safeguards against intense natural forces such as wind, precipitation, and waves, while promoting establishment of robust plant root systems and hence permanent vegetation cover. Our ground-level interviews with 30+ key actors, including civil engineers, researchers, officials, and coconut growers, helped in evaluating key assumptions. Number one, does it solve a core need? Is it cost efficient for our customers? Are the raw material readily available? And the following insights are: yes, contractors are willing to switch given that it is a performance material. Secondly, the cost savings around overall projects is very encouraging, and the additional income possibility is a rejoice for coconut producers. Financial-wise, we have expected to win our target market and reach a profitability of at least €180,000 annually by year 5. The main drivers being stability in production costs, profit margin of up to 40%, and securing our market share, while also generating additional revenue streams with byproducts of coal. In addition to increasing our resilience against destructive climatic events, our product also decreases carbon footprint by providing a nature-based solution from a waste-based material. Simply by diverting core husk area from landfills, we can have up to 250 tons equivalent of carbon dioxide emissions per year from our beachhead market alone. Also, switching from steel reinforced concrete to using quartz geotextile for projects such as slope and coastline stabilization will decrease CO2 emissions up to 85% while additionally acting as a carbon sink for vegetation projects. I present myself, founder and CEO of Coconan, Shivani with a background in sustainable product design, Dina who is a marine environmental scientist, Orina who has a 4 years experience as financial analyst, and Elvina who is a marketing strategist by profession. Our dream is to make effective use of local materials to meet our needs in resilience, advance as an economy while protecting our biota and create employment, and finally become prominent in our field.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So what does it end up? Do you end up compressing the coconut fibers into a particular shape? Do you?
Yeah. So basically, as by the pictures you've seen from the pitch, it is from these fibers. It is made into cords. And then because I'm sorry, I don't have the prototype with me at the lab, I forgot it. But then it is interweaved like cotton fibers that are interweaved to make our cloth. It's the same basics that a textile is made. But as you're saying, we can another product can be used that can be made is to compress the material into needle punch, that we say technically. But yeah, so it is very versatile as a material that can be weaved, it can be knitted, and it can be compressed into mats.
Thank you.
And each of them have their own mechanical properties, of course.
Yep. Thank you.
And so who would your customer be? Would you be actually creating the mats and the products that it goes into, or would you be selling them to people who would make those products?
Yeah, so initially our focus was to make it, but since we are a very small production here in terms of raw material, we are focused at outsourcing it into African countries such as Tanzania, who are already have a big basis of coconut oil production, and it will be more cost effective for them to for us to outsource the material and really focus into marketing the end result to most needed areas, which is very much around our region, of course, including, and the main buyers that we have right now, the main key buyers that are using it are England, Netherlands, Australia, and also China. So yeah, we are really getting into focusing into the marketing of the end product rather than manufacturing it, because our low effectiveness. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Great. If there aren't any more questions, we're almost out of time. That's great. Great. Thank you, Shivani.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. Great. We have one last pitch. If kind of looks like everyone is ready for the last one. Okay, great. So let's double check the name here. Water Will. Great. If you're here, Water Will, Mohammed, I guess if you could just give me a thumbs up. Anyone from Water Will here? Oh yeah, great. Here we go.
Yes.
Great. Let me just share my screen now.
Recording in progress. My name is Mohammed. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Urdhvam, which develops sustainable water solutions for both the rural and the premium market in Egypt. For more than 10 years, I have been working with rural communities in Africa and several water projects. But the more I work with them, the more I ask myself one question: is that sustainable? I found that it's not just about giving them a solution, it's about transforming them from being beneficiaries into being our business partners in a revenue generating sustainable way. And that's how we started Urdhvam. We work with rural communities to produce, sell, and distribute our patent pending cost efficient light filter to their own communities, while on the other hand, with the same technology, we produce a premium competitive version of these filters called the Good Filter, where we serve the premium market and applying our buy one, give one model, where with each Good Filter sold, one light filter is gifted to a family in rural community which cannot afford the light filter. We found the global market for home water filters is 9.6 billion euros, while the market in Africa is estimated to be 200 million euros as well. But on the other side of that, we found from the 2 billion people worldwide that don't have access to clean water, 310 million of them are living in Africa. And in Egypt only, 50 million are living in rural communities, of which 32 million can't afford better water solutions. So our beachhead market for that huge market will be 22 million euros, starting with Egypt as our first stage, but with many future expansion plans in Africa and beyond. Our premium good filter is 33% of less cost compared to traditional filters, while the basic life filter is 81% of less cost with no operational and maintenance expenses during a 2-year period. In addition to many important values like being sustainable, culture fit, less maintenance, and the unique design, and the potential of our technology to be used in multiple water sectors in addition to our beachhead market. And finally, our buy one give one model through our online platform. Our products are built on 2 important pillars. The first pillar is based on the traditional ceramic industry that is used since the ancient Egyptians, where we use our own formula of 5 different natural resources to make the body of the filter that can be recycled again and reused in the production, which make its cost much less than the average of the market. The second pillar is treating these ceramics with our patent pending silver nanoparticles, which prove its 99% efficiency on bacteria and removing any color, taste, odor, and impurities inside the water. In addition to being able to apply our technology in the future to multiple water sectors, like the industrial, medical, and agriculture sector. To validate our business model, we interviewed more than 500 individuals between the rural and the premium market, and we partnered with 2 universities in Canada for R&D and future expansion. Moreover, as you see below, we piloted with more than 5 NGOs and 4 distributors, and we distributed more than 800 filters in Egypt and Kenya. After testing our assumptions, we learned that there is a huge potential between women groups in rural communities to sell the filters, as well as the need in the premium market for hassle-free and smaller filters, and the fact they will pay even more, helping in our buy one, give one model. Our financials show that with 5% only of our beachhead market, we will sell 32,500 filters a year, with a profit margin of nearly 40%, to reach a net profit of nearly 245,000 euros, with our key drivers of price, low cost production, and market size at the core of our financial model. Coming to the important part of climate impact. Our products save between 54 and 69% of carbon dioxide per each filter. The main reason for this is our use of ceramics and nanoparticles, making our products smaller, live longer, and recyclable, instead of the unrecyclable polypropylene that is used in the alternatives filter. By year 5, we will save an average of 2,600 tons of carbon dioxide, which is equivalent to nearly 24,000 trees. And finally, coming to the team. Our team consists of Engineer Mohammed Fathi for business development with strong network and experience in rural communities across Egypt, Engineer Hisham for all the R&D and production, Noura for marketing and IT, and myself as the CEO. And the 4 of us that spent more than 10 years working together as a team in previous water projects in rural communities. That's why with Waterwell, we dream by 2030 to create more than 50,000 sustainable jobs, selling more than 1 million filters, and most importantly, we dream of a world where rural communities around the globe are empowered to have access to clean water. Thank you.
Alrighty. Great, Mohammed. Thank you very much. Zurigi, over to you.
Hey, Mohammed, thanks for the presentation. Actually, I know we met before in a few of the other rounds. I just wanted to ask a bit about the route to market, because I see that that's maybe changed a little bit, and was wondering, at the moment you're doing how you plan to scale, I suppose. At the moment you're doing some projects with NGOs, and I was wondering, are you going to continue down that route, or trying to go direct to consumers?
Yeah, so this is one of the most important questions. Products we have, our go-to-market strategy is working either with the B2B online platform with different as well as
Mohammed, can you hear us? We're losing you quite a bit. Okay. Just give him just a minute. Could be a rain cloud passing by. Kind of affects me here in Goa quite a bit.
Online sellers and distribution model, we work.
Mohammed, we're really having trouble. Do you mind responding in chat? Or turning off your video, and if it doesn't work, responding in chat. Let me just send a message. 1 second. Let's see. Okay. Hisham. Yeah, Hisham, if you're here, that'd be great. Please do. Hisham is also from Waterville. Okay. Let's see. Oh, okay. Hisham, if you can hear me, you can also open your mic as well. Okay. That's unfortunate. I still can't unmute. Why is that? Okay.
While you're trying, Tatwin, is there, given the previous involvement you've had or exposure, is this a particular platform to market, or is there also something special about the filter itself?
So, to my understanding, is the filter itself. So it's the patented technology. I think specifically the silver part of it, which, well, their patent is pending, and it's sort of the technology itself is reusable and recyclable.
Great.
Do you know what the difference between the two products is?
So my understanding is the two products, the sort of the
Hello. Okay, can you hear me well now and see me, right?
Yes, yes. Great.
Yeah, Muhammad is having a little important, sorry, a big issue in the internet.
No
so
problem.
I'm just thinking about calling him on the phone, and so each other can hear you well. Okay.
Sure. We'll solve this. It's part of the power and problems of going digital.
Yeah.
It's not as smooth, but okay, we can manage. If you guys call him, let's just we can get the questions going.
Yeah. I'm trying to call him right now.
Great. I've done this before, calling someone else to get onto a speaker, onto another system. These are fixes we'll all have to live with.
Yes, so I'm back again.
Yeah, great.
Okay, great.
Very bad time about this. I'm sorry.
Let's try it without video then. Jury, over to you.
Yeah, no, I think there were the two questions, one about the route to market and then another one about the technology, just explaining that in a little bit more detail.
Okay, so very fast, go-to-market strategy, we work online and offline. Online, we are working to sell with different online distributors and online platform to sell to other distributors online to push the product in Egypt as the first stage. In addition to that, we have our own online B2C platform where we sell directly to consumers. Other side, we sell offline through offline distributors in Egypt. For the basic product, we work with non-profits and women groups and startups to work with for giving them for free. No, it's for working with them to sell can distribute the filters inside their own communities. So this is the go-to strategy. We work on both online, offline. We are testing all the channels. Regarding technology, we use ceramics and nanoparticles, and silver nano inside the water, and the nano and the ceramic as well.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Still a little bit of disturbance. Hope you caught most of that. If you do feel like it's too difficult, what we could ask Mohammed is give him a question in writing and let him come back as a way to kind of solve this. If it's okay, then if there's any other questions, you can try verbally as well. Right. All right. Great. Okay. Well, no, thank you. I think that's the jury's gotten their questions. Thank you, Mohammed. Apologize for this technical difficulty. But that is, okay, the last startup. I think, okay, great. So I want to first thank all the startups here. Good luck, even if you don't make it to Global Grand Finals, good luck in your journey, because we do wish all of you will succeed. There's enough space for everyone to succeed in solving this size problem we're all facing. Again, I want to thank the jury again for their time, although your work is not done yet, but thank you for the time out of your busy schedules as well to support this program, which I think is starting to do some amazing stuff. I'm now going to hand over the room to Lota, who's now there instead of Claudia. Hi, Lota.
Hi, yes, thank you. Hi, yes, I want to say thank you. Oh, I didn't hear everyone's presentation because I came halfway, but I'm sure everyone did great.
That's it. Great job, teams. You pitched your socks off and the semifinals are now done. Fingers crossed. I wish you could all make it to the grand final, but it's not on me, it's on the jury. The top 2 teams from each topic win access to the grand final. There are 2 wildcards for teams that did not end up in the top 2, but impressed the jury anyway. That makes 16 teams to battle out for the global win, and all top 16 teams get access to the ClimateLaunchpad accelerator. You can now relax for a bit, but if you feel restless and want to prepare for the grand final, practice the Q&A part, as the judges in the grand final are even more driven to ask some difficult questions. So that's maybe something you can prepare a little bit more on. You can watch your Q&A from the semifinals tomorrow at 9 CEST online, as we will put all pitches on our global final website. Feel free to share the link with everyone in your network, on your social channels, your family, just everybody. Tomorrow we start at noon CEST, and former ClimateLaunchpad participants will then share their stories and let you in on their secrets to success, lessons learned, and also mistakes that are made. And of course, we will announce the top 16 teams. Thank you for your great work today. Get some rest, and I'll see you tomorrow.